The study of mitochondrial DNA has been definitive. It's scientific fact. They've traced the lineage and the DNA of every human being, if you want to call it that, on this planet, and it comes to one source, the black woman, which means they have not found the origin of black women, which means if you believe there's a God, that the only people that one can say God made would be the black woman and black people, which means everybody else has come from us. The DNA proves that, which means the only people that could possibly be God's chosen people are African people, because we're the first people on the planet. So that definitively says that this Ashkenazi is not God's chosen people, because God didn't have nothing to do with making them. Secondly, he asked the question. He said, this homosexual Zionist infrastructure that's pushing this filth and degeneracy on the American populace, prove it. I want everybody to do this. Here you go. Take your pen and pencil, write it down. CBS is owned by Murray Rothstein. Okay? NBC, owned by Brian Roberts, who they're producing what? Sitcoms like The New Normal, promoting all of this homosexuality and corruption to traditional family values. ABC, owned by Sidney Bass and Roger Iger. Go to CNN, who owns that, and Time Warner. Aviv Novo, another small hat. CNN, Jeff Zucker. Fox News, Rupert Murdoch. We go to Newsweek, Jane Harmon, Barry Diller. The Washington Post, everybody knows the Graham family. The New York Times, the Salzberger family. I want you to write those down and go and research it for yourself and tell me what major media that puts out information to the American populace is not controlled, dominated, and run by the Zionist small hats, and when they allow anybody who has family values or any sense of decency to get a chance to speak to the American people and say, hey, we believe in some decent values.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 4.
But who's talking? And then who are the daughters born unto? And then it said that sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
And that's one group. And you had another group that came in. You had one group, you had two groups that came down. You had one group that came down and took the daughters, and then you had another group that came down and mixed with the daughters of men, right, and gave birth to what's referred to as Gibberim, or mighty men of renown, right? And they put the word renown there to trick you. The word renown is not there in the Hebrew. The word is Shem, for skies or sun, where they get the word Shemesh, right? Men of the skies, right, or gods in flesh. And it was two groups, and it's talking about a time period where the people or the mortals on the planet have fell to a point to where they needed a boost. You follow? It's talking about another period when the gods came down to mingle with mortals. You follow what I'm saying? And to give, because the women on the planet have failed to a certain point, right, or been reduced to mortal or mortality when they never were supposed to be reduced to that, being the original gods of the planet. Because women are the original deities of the planet. They were here before men. And that's why men still got to come through women. There's no woman that came through a man. There's no man that didn't get here, right, that didn't come through a womb. Women are the first gods of this planet. The original deities. You follow what I'm saying? And because she had been reduced by mortal men down to a level to where she became mortal and forgot who she was, it was necessary to send a root to earth to bring her back up to that point, to give a boost to the genes again. You follow what I'm saying? So that story was taken, just like all the rest of those stories, from the Sumerian tablets and the ancient Tamarian tablets that talked about the same situation as in the Egyptian text about Re and the Set and the Sajet and the women that needed to be brought back up to Godhood again. That's why those priests and priestesshoods were set up to do that. You know what I'm saying? There was a certain environment where this took place, right? And they will be put under certain conditions that will allow these godly children to be born again. And you get that in the New Testament when they were trying to tell the story of a Set and Horus again with Mary and Jesus. When Mary was taken to a convent and put in a certain environment to prepare her to be able to birth one of those children. You follow? And in that story, it wasn't Joseph that gave birth, that seeded the life for Yahshua, right? It was Jebrael. And that's why they say, if you go to the book of Luke, it says that the angel Gabriel came in unto her. Anywhere else in the Bible, when you see the word, when it says somebody came in unto somebody, it was sexual. But they try to disregard that in the New Testament when it says the angel of the Lord came in unto Mary and then she was pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So she had to copulate, right, with an angelic being to produce that child. Not a man. Not men. We originally were not men. We are not men. The word man comes from the Sanskrit word Manu for moon. All those words mean moon. Moon, man, Manu, all of those are the same words. You follow? We're not moon beings. We are solar deities. Rays, Re, Ra. And we have been reduced to men. So it's going to take gods to raise her back up to the level to be who she's supposed to be. Not men. Follow? So that story was talking about a time when the seed had to be raised again because the people on the planet have become mortals that used to be gods. You follow? And the men had to be raised up back to gods through what's referred to in biblical times as the Order of Zadok, the Zodakine priesthood. You follow? This priesthood in Jesus' time was referred to as the Essene order, or the ancient order of Melchizedek. It was a mystical brotherhood, right, where the select initiates would go, right, and be taught the necessary information that would give them back his godlike qualities. These were rituals and practices, and the order itself came out of the mystery schools of ancient Egypt. Freemasons, European Freemasons that is, took this concept and gave you the 3 degrees of Freemasonry. The Enter the Prince, Fellow Craft, and Master Mason. The Master Mason. You follow? At that point, you are what's referred to as resurrected. Anybody ever went through the law know what I'm talking about. You follow? And you are born again. And in order for Jesus to become who he was supposed to be, he had to be baptized by someone. Christians will tell you, well, that's baptism is for remission of sins. Well, they say Jesus was sinless, right? What was he being baptized for? They don't realize that was a ritual of a priesthood that he was a part of. And after he was baptized, it says that the Spirit of the Lord descended on him like a dove. Not before. So he wasn't a god before that point. He had to be initiated, right? And a ritual had to take place. And then he became God in the flesh. So the elders set up certain schools. And depending on the elder that was over the school or governed the school, a certain animal was depicted, only to signify the school in question.